Okay, so I want to talk about the Garden of Eden, the black man and the black woman, and submission. So in the beginning, God created the heavens, the earth from darkness, chaos. And then he created the Garden of Eden, which means that's nature, and also the animals as well, the fruits, vegetables, and the animals. And then he says, so that's chaos. But then he's like, Adam, I need you to subdue and be fruitful and multiply this chaos. So he brings Adam to subdue this chaos and bring structure to the chaos. So really what Adam is doing to the garden is the same thing he's doing to Eve, which is subduing and adding structure to chaos. So that already shows the order right there. That shows the order. Christ is the head of every man, and a man is the head of every woman. So there is structure to this, though many people want us operating in chaos. So, okay, so we know Adam's role. He's to subdue this world. He is to subdue and multiply. Subdue all the animals are under you. Everything you see is at your feet. I just need you to work it and subdue it, and you'll be all right. So Adam's doing his thing, but God's like, okay, Adam, you're a little lonely. You need a helpmate out here. So he takes the rib, a vital part from Adam, and he produces Eve. So Eve is to support Adam, to be a helpmate to Adam. So right from the beginning, you have our roles laid out. You have the protector, provider, and then you have the supporter. And so right at the beginning, we need each other. It's not that, okay, Adam is better than Eve, Eve is better than Adam. No, we need each other. It's yin and yang here. But we have different roles. Everything has roles. Military has roles. Basketball has roles. Everything. Jobs, careers have roles in order to function. So that doesn't mean that the CEO is better than the janitor. It doesn't mean that the coach is better than the players. It doesn't mean that the GM is better than the players. Without Kobe Bryant, you don't have the Lakers. Without Phil Jackson, you don't have the operation going on. So every piece is vital. You know, without the fans, what's the point of watching? What's the point of playing? So every part is vital. Every role is just as important as the next role. And when everybody's functioning, it's a well-oiled machine. So that's why the serpent was hell-bent on getting into Eve's ear, because he knew her importance and also her critical role to Adam. So the serpent is telling Eve, there's a man better than the man that you were born to serve. There's a God better than the God you guys are walking with. Because back then, God was walking with Adam and Eve. He wasn't up in heaven like today. Back then, God was with Adam and Eve in the garden. They was, hey, what's up? What's up? But after the wickedness, he went to his own place, or, you know, Adam and Eve were kicked out of the garden. That's, uh-oh. Adam and Eve were kicked out of the garden. So the serpent knew how vital Eve was to Adam. How could the serpent manipulate Eve to think there's a better God than the God you serve? There's better. There's options, there's variety. Just like buying, though they just banned them, but it's like buying flavored e-pens or flavored tobacco. E is bad for you, but you got options. You got options. You got grape, cherry, you got strawberry, you got options. So that variety is a sales tactic right there to make you think, okay, this is better. Okay, so in our nature, we're unbreakable. But once you get the serpent to get into Eve's ear, then that's when chaos erupts. So that's why this, you fast forward to today, feminism, especially turning the black man and black woman against each other, with thoughts of feminism and, black woman has more money, more degrees. That's all the agenda of the serpent, just like the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden. So we just have to realize the attack and why the Satan is so hell-bent on Eve. There's a better God to serve. There's a better man to serve than the one you have, So, especially nowadays, you hear black women always talking about money. Maybe the white man has more money. The Mexican man may have more money. Asian man has more money. Whatever reasons they validate to themselves to go outside of the culture, to think that there is a better man than the man that they have. But if you think there's a better man than what you have, what do you feel about yourself, Eve? And I do say Adam and Eve because we are the creators of all life. Therefore, that is our role as Adam and Eve, the creators of all life, the gatekeepers, the seed of all of the whole spectrum of everything we see and observe. Okay. So, we just have to understand the attack of feminism, especially nowadays. So when you hear these black women say, oh, black men ain't this, black men ain't that, it's really just a cop-out so that they don't have to be under the black man's jurisdiction, I'll say. You don't have to follow the God I serve if you think I ain't that. If you want to walk out. But I caution that because you're walking out of the protection of the man that's meant to protect you. And you're running into the arms of the serpent. So, which is maybe the reason why they do it, because most of these women that are, oh, black man ain't this and that, their reasoning is because they want to run it to those other men. They think there is something better. And this lady has said something on one of these videos. When a woman respects you, it's because she thinks that you are the best option. But when she thinks there are better options out there, then that's where the disrespect comes. So that's why the agendas, these commercials, these TV shows, everything is catered to lift up the woman, to put her on a pedestal. And it's for a reason. It's for a reason. So we just have to understand the attacks. And it's all from the beginning. Just from the first two human beings in the Garden of Eden, it's been this way. So, and Adam and Eve were kicked out of the garden, sent into slavery, sent into bondage. And until we realize who we are and serve the God we're meant to serve, then we will remain in captivity and outside of our rightful place. So we just have to understand and be able to have discernment in these last days. So Adams, just do your job, and the right helpmeet will come. Don't be so focused on the Eves that want to listen to the serpent. Eve is going to do what she wants to do. Jezebel is going to do what she wants to do. But are you doing your God-given duty? That's what's important. Because at the same time, we can bash women all we want, but are we doing our roles? Are we doing our jobs? At the same time, our women do need to see men because they can only be a reflection of us. So let's start shining our light so that our woman can see who we are, and in turn See who they are. So the Garden of Eden, let's say Africa. Why were we kicked out of Africa? Because we stopped serving our gods. We stopped serving our ancestors. Same reason Atlantis fell. They stopped doing the things that made them great. They stopped serving their ancestors. They stopped serving the God that was behind them. They got too cocky. They got too confident in their luxuries. They got too comfortable. They got too lax. They got too haughty in their ways, too cocky. And pride comes before destruction. So let these people babble off with their foolishness. Pride, like I said, pride comes before destruction. Let these women get on these podcasts and disrespect men all they want. Pride comes before destruction. Let these men turn our woman against us all they want. Pride comes before destruction, and so does desperation. Because now it's turning into desperation. You think about it, we just had the George Floyd riots a couple years ago, and we were, pretty darn unified then. Then all of a sudden we have the so-called pandemic, and then all of a sudden we're at each other's necks, black men versus black women, gender war. It doesn't make any sense. We're so kumbaya, and then, a couple years later, we're against each other. So you just have to be wary of men and women that follow the agendas, follow what they see on TV. Because if one day you're out here rioting, protesting, and then the next day you're out here saying your man ain't this, then you're just, like I said, you're a pawn because you don't realize your role on the chessboard as a king or a queen. So the serpent, in a sense, doesn't want Adam to do his part. And to get to Adam, he's going to get to Eve first. And it's hard to deal with women you love and you know they're wrong. A woman will get you to do some drugs. A woman will get you to do a line of coke at a party because, she's beautiful. A woman will also the right woman will make you quit drugs. So, woman is very, very, very powerful, almost innately, just innately. She has her own power and grace and beauty. So, we just, let's get back to our nature. Let's subdue this chaos. Let's get back to order and structure. And those that want to follow the serpent, maybe they got their degrees. They feel like there's wisdom better than what their man has to offer. They're filled with wisdom. They feel like, oh, there's money to be made. These are all things, if there's a reason that they'll turn against you, let them go. Because the right woman, the right queen, there's nothing you could tell her to turn against herself or her man, to turn against her nature. The right woman will never put a wig on. Some, okay. But the right woman that knows who she is in her own divinity, in her own nature, would never do that. She would never violate her own nature and spirituality to appease another's. Not for $1, not for celebrity, not for anything. But are you a pawn? Or are you a king and queen?